and the old planet, a powerful warrior was born with a power that exceeded 10,000 units of power, which was crazy for a newborn, and much more because his parents, Bardock and Gine, were low-class Saiyan, which would leave them very surprised. I can't believe Kakarot's power. He even surpassed me. His power is amazing. I agree with you, Bardock, but in the same way he needs the incubator machine, since when born prematurely, he is not able to breathe by himself. I agree with you, Genie. At least he should be in the incubator for about 2 months. Yes, Bardock, I hope you are here when Kakarot is able to leave. I will do everything possible to see the future legendary Saiyan. At that time, Bardock, together with his squad, had gone to conquer several planets by orders of the great Frieza. However, in one of their missions, they had been able to finish off all their inhabitants apparently. Wow, the power of those warriors was not high, but the mental power they were able to execute was crazy. It was not at all high. That happens to you since you have not decided to train, although rumors say that it is to be with your son. Rumors also say that your son has been able to be born with 10,000 units of power. Is that true? Before Bardock was able to respond, a survivor would leave Bardock's back, being able to almost leave him out of combat with a single blow. For his part, one of his companions was able to throw a great weight for energy, but despite being disintegrating, he continued walking towards Bardock. With that little hit that I have been able to connect you, you will be able to observe the destruction of your race. No matter how many years pass, you will see how they are extinguishing. Stop saying stupid things, damned worm, good for nothing. Bardock, with a great attack of energy, was able to disintegrate it in its entirety. But before being able to celebrate, Bardock would fall out of combat. That's right. Although the blow seems harmless, the damage it had caused him was complete madness. So his companions would take him to one of the recovery capsules. But while Bardock was recovering, he was able to observe his little Kakarot, as was his childhood, adolescence, as even beat Frieza, becoming the legendary Super Saiyan. However, everything in its path was destruction, since by becoming the most powerful Saiyan and having the instinct of destruction, the entire planet, city, or warrior that crossed his path was eradicated. Apparently, he is fully recovered. It is time for him to leave the capsule. All the water would be drained from the capsule, to which Bardock would open his eyes quickly. What the hell was that? Did that damn thing tell me? No, that can't be true. Bardock, are you okay? Or do you want to keep resting a little longer? No, don't worry. I feel completely recovered. Bardock would dress up again in his combat outfit, heading home, since that same day Kakarot was 2 months old in the incubator. But when he arrived, he would be able to have a vision in which Emperor Frieza completely destroys his entire planet. I can't take this lightly, since I've even noticed Frieza's intentions for some time now. Bardock, you have arrived. Kakarot still does not wake up, but he has grown a lot since the last time you saw him. What do you think? Does he have your same hair? Genie, tonight we will send Kakarot to planet Earth, since I have a very bad feeling about Frieza. I'm sure he is about to betray us. What did you say? How dare you say something like that? Don't you see that he's just a baby? Even if he's already able to breathe on his own, he still cannot survive. He will be able to survive, since he has a power of more than 10,000 units of power, and he will even send him to planet Earth, in which there are no powerful warriors. I hope all this has a good reason, since I don't want to send Kakarot. Genie, if nothing happens in a while, I'll go look for Kakarot myself. Do you think I want to send Kakarot to another planet? But I have a bad feeling. Okay, Bardock, I'll trust you. But please, if nothing of what you say happens, promise me that you will go rescue him. I swear on my life, Genie, I will not let Kakarot grow up without his parents. But Bardock, what do you think if we send him with his brother Raditz? That is impossible, Genie. From what I understand, Raditz is on a mission with Prince of Rosalian, Vegeta. I understand. In that case, let's do it, Bardock. I trust you. That same night, Bardock was able to steal a capsule to be able to send Kakarot to another planet. So at the moment he arrived, Bardock and Genie would observe Kakarot for the last time. At that moment, Bardock would place his hand on the capsule, just like Kakarot. My dear Kakarot, you have to survive. I trust you. Defeat Frieza's tyrant. The ship would take off completely, heading to planet Earth. For its part, in the old planet, after only 2 days, Frieza had gathered all the aliens on the planet. It's time to finish off those damned monkeys. And I pass you with the damned child who has been able to be born with more than 10,000 units of power. I'm sure it would be a great threat in the future. A colossal weight began to approach where the old planet was, while Bardock with all his power tried to face it. It was impossible for him, because the power of the evil emperor was complete madness. After a few seconds, Bardock's attack was completely lost, so the destruction of the old planet was imminent. Oh, how beautiful those fireworks! I finally finished off those damned annoying monkeys. Meanwhile, Kakarot was still on his way. As time passed, he had been able to reach planet Earth, in which upon impact, a small destruction would form through the forest in which he arrived. But no one had noticed his arrival, since it was a completely desolate place. But that afternoon, an old man named Gohan was able to notice a great shine in the middle of the forest. Oh, but what will be that great shine in the middle of nowhere? The grandfather named Gohan would approach, realizing that it was a baby, but being able to carry it in his arms, he would notice how this baby had a tail. Regardless of this, he would take it home, but Kakarot, with the typical behavior of the genes, made his care very complicated, until a certain day in which Goku had to fall and hit his head hard, leaving him out of combat. In this story, it would not occur since the grandfather was able to hold him with great difficulty, making sure that Kakarot did not fall into that great ravine. Whew, that was close. I can't believe I was able to save him, although I almost fell with my little Goku. This is how a few years had elapsed in which Kakarot had noticed a great training that his grandfather was carrying out, joining him to train with him. However, as time went by, the power of Kakarot continued to grow in a great way, so one day he had decided to end this damned old man's life, since I can't stand it. I hate his talk of behavior. I want to destroy everything in his path.
Kakarot, without any difficulty, had been able to end his grandfather's life, taking a very different path, arriving in a city in which, being full moon, Kakarot had acceded to the Osaru state, beginning to destroy everything around him, but he was not able to control himself in the least. His destruction would not come out until the morning of the next day. Ouch, my head hurts a little, but I have realized that I have been able to access the Osaru state, the Saiyan transformation. But I have to be able to control it. Kakarot would again access the forest, in which he would begin with a great meditation training to be able to control the state of the Osaru. After 4 months, Goku would again access the Osaru state, being able to control it 90%. Although I am transformed in this way, I am able to reason and speak. I have been able to become much more powerful, but I want even more power. Kakarot, with his state of Osaru, began to destroy hundreds of cities around him, leaving them reduced to dust. Regardless of innocent lives, One day, Kakarot was able to run into the powerful Master Roshi. "What's wrong with you, old man? Don't you see where you're going? You better apologize or I'll end your life right now." "What an impertinent child! Don't you know who I am?" "I don't know or I care, but right now you've been able to irritate me, so I'll end your damn life." Kakarot threw himself at Master Roshi, but to his surprise, Master Roshi was able to dodge each of his blows, since due to the fact that Goku was much more powerful, he still did not have the right experience for a fight. "I can see that your heart is full of evil, and despite being a child, I have no mercy against you. I plan to end you with a great technique." Master Roshi at that moment was able to increase his musculature in an incredible way, while in the palm of his hands an incredible power began to collect, which would leave Kakarot very astonished, since despite not being able to feel his power, everything around him was shaking completely. "But what the hell is that damned old man doing?" Master Roshi would throw his iconic technique against Kakarot, which would be completely covered. But since his power is far superior to Master Roshi's, he was not able to end his life. But Kakarot was able to learn the technique just by looking at it, since it was a prodigy to learn a simple human technique. It was not a big deal. "At this moment, I will leave you alive, since thanks to you, an inept old man, I was able to learn a new technique." "What? How have you been able to survive my most powerful technique? And don't say stupid things. It would be completely impossible for you to learn a technique just by looking at it. I don't want to end your life right now, but look at that fleet of ships that comes there. In them, I will try the new technique that you have taught me." Kakarot would begin to concentrate completely, being able to create a small sphere in his hands. But the more energy he concentrated, that sphere became much larger, which, at that moment, would throw his technique, being much more powerful than Master Roshi's, destroying everything in his path. The whole fleet had been left underwater. "In a very short time, I intend to end your life, so it is better that you become much more powerful, or if you have a technique, I can leave you living something else." Kakarot would march at great speed, marching towards some mountains, in which he would face multiple warriors of a society called the Red Patrol. But it didn't matter what they did, since each of their warriors was very weak on one side of Kakarot. "It doesn't matter what I do. I have to be able to become much more powerful. I have to avenge the death of my parents and end the damned Frieza. I must become the Emperor of Evil." Kakarot would begin to train. However, multiple rumors were able to take him to the Tower of Master Karen, which Kakarot on this occasion, being much more powerful, was able to climb it without any difficulty, being able to reach with a peculiar warrior, which had the appearance of a cat. "Are you Master Karen, of which so much is spoken? You don't look like a simple cat. Ending your life will be something very simple." Master Karen, despite using each of his techniques, was not able to do anything against a Saiyan child, which had even been able to drink the sacred water that was in his temple. Kakarot had felt a great pain all over his body, falling unconscious completely. But after a few hours, Kakarot would wake up. "What the hell was that water? Has it been able to leave me out of combat completely?" Kakarot had realized that at the top of the place he was, there was a place much further away,
but he was not able to fly, so climbing at that moment was impossible for him. I am sure that in that place there must be a much more powerful warrior, since in that case he should not be so far away. But for now, I have to go to destroy the cities that are around me. Kakarot, being about to destroy a city, had realized that in 3 years a martial arts tournament would be held in that city. So very powerful warriors from different parts would go to that tournament to show their skills and make a name for themselves. I have changed my mind. Although I am currently 12 years old, I want to see what the warriors who participate are capable of. So I will go to the mountains. Kakarot would cease his destruction entering the mountains, in which he would also begin his great training to break each of his limits. But without knowing it, a powerful warrior had been released who is looking for eternal youth. If with this body I am still very powerful, when I am able to deal with eternal youth, it doesn't matter what warrior comes before me, I will finish him. This is how Piccolo would deal with the dragon's fears, being able to deal with eternal youth, making his power shoot in an incredible way. Kakarot would continue to meditate, since being of high class, he knew that meditation had several benefits, as well as help to have better control of his internal energy, so not to waste energy in vain. I have to be able to become much more powerful. I can't imagine what kind of new technique the old man will teach me, since I'm sure he won't let himself be eliminated easily. But at the moment, the whole sky would darken completely, because the great Piccolo had been able to ask for his wish, being able to deal with eternal youth. At this moment, it doesn't matter who my opponent is, nothing or no one will be able to face me this time, since the only way they were able to defeat me was by sealing me. Master Roshi, feeling the power of Piccolo, would quickly go to the battlefield with his disciples Krillin and Yamcha, so the trio of warriors would fixedly observe the Emperor of planet Earth. Wow, apparently there are still competent warriors. My master is able to seal you with his most powerful technique, and even if I lose my life, I don't care. I intend to sacrifice myself to end your evil. Master Roshi was able to execute his incredible technique called Mafuba.
Piccolo, realizing that iconic technique, would try to escape, but Master Roshi would not let him escape. But a mistake in his technique had not allowed Piccolo to be sealed, while Master Roshi had used a lot of vital energy, making it impossible for him to perform his technique again. At this very moment, I intend to end your damned existence. I never thought there was a warrior who would be able to execute that damn technique. Piccolo swung against Master Roshi, but Yamcha and Krillin would interfere, who would try to attack. However, Piccolo was only able to dodge each of his blows, but would go back a moment. I am very bored, so I want to see a great fight, so you will face one of my sons. Piccolo was able to eject an egg from his mouth, from which a new being of the evil family had been born, having great power compared to the warriors. Father, tell me, what do I have to do? How is it possible? Father, if he really is your son, how is he able to move with so much freedom since his birth? We are very different from humans. We do not need to grow. We only do it in special cases, when we transmit all our power to them. I do not care what they are. I have no intention of letting them end the life of our master. Father, I am waiting for your orders. I want you to give me a great show. Then you can end his life, or even eat them.
I do not care what you do with them." "As you wish, father." Piccolo's son had balanced against Yamcha and Krillin, who, despite having had rigorous training, had not been able to do much against Piccolo's son, because his physical power surpassed him dozens of times, being able to begin to humiliate them completely. For his part, Kakarot, despite not being able to feel the energy of his enemies, was able to perceive how a great power appeared and disappeared in the distance. All this because he was not able to control his energy 100%. Apparently, meditation has been able to allow me to feel the energy of several beings, although I am not yet able to control it completely. Kakarot would stand up, and with a big smile he began to move all over the place. His speed was amazing, so much so that in a matter of minutes he had been able to reach the battlefield, realizing how two subjects were humiliated by a much stranger warrior. "I do not care who they are, so I have nothing to do in this place. They are not capable of doing anything against my son, much less they will be able to do something against me, a being from the evil family. Damn it, if we die in this place, there will be no warrior who is able to face him. I have to manage to seal him even if he dies in the attempt." Krillin and Yamcha had been completely defeated. Because of this, Piccolo's son began to approach Master Roshi, who, despite using his agile movements, his body was completely destroyed, not being able to do anything against him. "Your physical strength is complete crap, although you must have a very powerful technique so that even my father is afraid of you. But now your end has come. Apparently, this has been my limit. I'm sorry, but I will not be able to do anything." Before Piccolo's son was able to connect the final blow, Kakarot would appear in front of Piccolo's son, connecting a powerful kick, being able to end his life with a single blow, which had even surprised Piccolo, as well as Master Roshi. "But if it's you, what are you supposed to do in this place? Do you want to die?" Nobody is allowed to end the life of this old insolent, since in 2 years we will have a tournament, in which he has to teach me one more of his techniques. I do not care what your motives are, but at this moment you will face the evil family, since you have been able to end one of my children. I hope that if you call yourself the evil family, you are powerful, since I do not want to end your life quickly. Damn brat, compared to me, you are a simple baby, since you have absolutely no experience in the battlefield. What do you think if we check my experience in the battlefield? Furious, Piccolo would attack Kakarot, which to his surprise was able to repel each of his blows, being able to even face him, leaving everyone very surprised by the agility he had in the battlefield. This is bad, since it does not matter who wins. Both have a power completely full of evil. I have to flee from here. Master Roshi would try to stand up, but he was not able to achieve it, although when he raised his gaze a little, he was amazed to realize how Piccolo had been sent to fly to the ground, while a large amount of blood expelled all his body. What happens? Is that all the power of a member of the evil family? I hope this is only the warming up, since I have not used even 50% of my power. That is right, Kakarot had not used any of his power, because being of high class, his power had been able to reach 15,000 units of power, which for Piccolo was impossible to reach, because his power at most only reached 600 units of power, being surpassed by Goku dozens of times. Demons, this planet is full of weaklings and good insects for nothing, since despite the fact that I have decreased my power as much as I can, it is not able to give me a good blow. What is this feeling? I belong to the evil family. How is it possible that a simple child is able to emanate this feeling of terror? I have gotten bored of you. You do not even serve as a warm-up, so I better continue meditating. You can destroy everything that pleases you. But if you end the life of the old man, I will make you suffer in the worst possible way." Kakarot, when turning around and about to march, Piccolo with great speed would try to give him a blow, but Kakarot with his reflexes was able to dodge it in time, while Piccolo would rise in the entire sky. I agree that you have great power, but at this moment the beings that are in this damned city will fly in pieces, including the old man. Piccolo at high speed would begin to descend, while Kakarot would give a little smile, and despite not knowing how to fly, with a burst of energy he would thrust into the air, being able to concentrate a little of his strength in one of his fists. With this simple blow, I intend to end your life. Kakarot, with his incredible power, was able to execute an incredible blow, being able to even represent an incredible Ozuru in all his fist, because that blow was of another level, being able to go through it completely. What? How has this been possible? I cannot believe that a simple child has been able to defeat me. But this is not the end of the evil family, since my son will be able to avenge me. Piccolo, the king of the evil family, was able to spit a great egg in which he contained all his power and techniques. At the moment, Piccolo's entire body would explode completely, while Kakarot began to approach Master Roshi, who was on the verge of death.
Wow! Wow! Apparently you are in terrible condition, since you are not able to do anything. But I have not thought of letting you die, since I want your techniques. Kakarot would stretch one of his hands, being able for Master Roshi to recover all his power, even raising it a little more, with which he was going to ask something, but Kakarot had vanished from the battlefield. Damn it! The power this child has is incredible. He was even able to defeat the Emperor of Evil. We have to train in these 2 years to be able to defeat him. Master Roshi would hold his disciples, leaving quickly. For his part, Kakarot had returned to meditate. Meanwhile, with the trio of Saiyan remaining, Raditz would remember that his brother had been sent to planet Earth. If we want to face Frieza, we should recruit Kakarot. I do not know how powerful he is, but I am sure that if we are 4, we will have more opportunity. You say he has been sent to planet Earth? It is a waste of time, since on that planet there are only extremely weak warriors, whose power units reach at most 300 units. Yes, Kakarot has been sent to that planet. It means that he is a low-class warrior, and instead of helping us, he will only be another nuisance. On one hand, he is right, but in the same way, we can use Kakarot's insect as bait in case everything gets complicated. That is an idea that I like, since if things get complicated, we will have to leave Kakarot so that Frieza tears him apart while we escape. In that case, we will have to go to planet Earth. The trio of warriors began to head for planet Earth, while in planet Earth, the last 2 years had yet passed, in which I would start the martial arts tournament, in which all the most powerful warriors wanted to show their skills. So the day has finally come when I can learn something new. I want to eradicate all the damned Saiyans and then finish off the damned Frieza. He will pay me. The day of the tournament had finally arrived, in which hundreds of warriors would present themselves. However, despite having great musculature, it was nothing compared to Kakarot,
because Kakarot only by walking was able to release a pressure that for humans was lethal, since they even urinated in their pants. Are these really the most powerful warriors? They are garbage. The martial arts tournament had begun, in which in the first fight, Kakarot would have to fight against Tien, which they both stared at. I can see that you have great power, since your incredible aura is capable of freeing itself from your whole body, but it will not be able to follow my speed, and much less will be able to hit me, since with my third eye, I do not have a blind spot. I do not care. If you had 10 more eyes, you would not be able to do anything against me, since those eyes are useless to you if you will not be able to react. The fight had begun, in which Kakarot, containing himself too much, would begin to exchange blows with Tien, who with great difficulty was able to keep up with Kakarot. For his part, Master Roshi was watching him completely. This will be much more complicated than it seems, since we have been able to talk to the organizer of the martial arts tournament to vaccinate everyone and only the most powerful warriors to give us to end Kakarot. But his power is amazing. I can see that you are very confident, but it is a pity, since this time I will use my special ability, although I must admit that I did not think of using it in this tournament. Tien would begin to channel all his power, with which he was able to create 3 replicas of himself, which was an amazing technique, and at the moment they surrounded Kakarot, without leaving him a way out, but Kakarot's serious look would fade away as he began to laugh. It's a great technique, I must admit it, but you have made a serious mistake when using it against me, since your power has been divided into 4, so it will be much easier to beat you. Kakarot, using his purely physical speed, was able to remove each of the 100 from the platform, but despite the fact that one of them would try to do something against him, it was impossible for him, since this time Kakarot's power completely surpassed him, eliminating each of them without any difficulty. This has been a children's game. They weren't even able to make me sweat, but instantly, an incredible combined attack from all the other warriors was able to hit Kakarot, who began to laugh, but their laughter changed to an expression of absolute panic, realizing that in the flames, Kakarot was without any wound. What have you supposed to have tried? You are mere flies. At that moment, 3 ships had been able to land at a distance near the martial arts tournament, of which 3 powerful warriors would come out, destroying the city in their wake. The city in which it was had been completely destroyed, but before the explosion was able to reach them, Kakarot had formed a great barrier around all the warriors. That's right, Kakarot was able to save them. Apparently, you damned worms are Saiyan, but I don't care, since by the destruction of the planet of which I am the ruler, I will eradicate them. Kakarot, stop saying stupid things, since it doesn't matter how hard you try, since if they have sent you to this planet, it is because your power is extremely low. We have come this far to recruit you, and that you are able to join us, since we intend to end the life of Frieza. That damn thing has destroyed our planet. It would be better if you accept, since if you refuse, in this same place, we will finish you. Ha! Interesting. But do you think you have the required power to force me to go with you? Since I, on my own, want to defeat the damned Frieza. Stop saying stupid things, so it better get ready. In a few hours, we will go to the planet where Frieza is. From what I understand, you Raditz are my brother, but I don't care, since even you have come with the intention of ending my life, and if that is the case, I will end yours first. Stop saying stupid things, damned worm, good for nothing. It will be better if you obey your older brother if you don't want him to hit you. I will tell you the same thing I told that damned garbage. If you have the power, force me. Annoyed Raditz had thrown himself against Kakarot, but Kakarot, with great skill, was able to dodge his blow, and with a slight blow he would make him retreat a few meters. However, before Raditz was able to recover, he had realized how the power of his brother had increased in an incredible way. Now die, damned worm! Kakarot, with a slight attack, was able to execute a great technique on the tip of his fingers, with which he was able to cross Raditz completely, leaving him lying on the ground while spitting blood. Damn it! How is supposed to have been able to beat me, since above all, you have dared to end the life of your own brother? It is a disgrace. Demons, we have not yet faced Frieza, and we have already suffered a loss. I have no intention of collaborating with the unuseful Kakarot. I agree with you, Nappa, so end your life, since apparently it is what you most want. You can play with him.
Annoying Nappa had also thrown himself against Goku, who without any difficulty was able to dodge each of his blows, while the tournament warriors were surprised to realize Kakarot's level of skill. No matter what we would have done, we do not have the required power to face this warrior. I have not yet been able to fight him, but since his fight with Piccolo, his power has increased in an incredible way. Master, but when I finish fighting those warriors who call themselves Saiyan, we have our chance to finish him once and for all. Of course, Master, since he will be weak after having fought with 3 warriors. The impression of everyone was much more when Kakarot would change his expression to a much more serious one, and in a single blow he was able to cross Nappa completely, which would vomit blood all over the battlefield while he fell to the ground. What are these garbage supposed to be? Their power is not surprising at all. Kakarot would stretch one of his hands, being powerful enough to finish Nappa's life completely, leaving no bones. At that moment, the gaze of both Saiyan would cross completely. If you have been able to finish them, the only thing it means is that they were weak, since it is the law of life: the strong survive, the weak die. It is the first thing I agree with you, so at this moment I will finish you, since compared to me, you are much weaker. Kakarot this time would take the initiative to give the first blow, but the Prince of the Saiyan was able to dodge his blow, returning the same blow, but Kakarot in the same way was able to dodge it instantly. Both began to exchange hundreds of blows all over the place, destroying everything in their path. The Prince of the Saiyan was able to give him a powerful blow, sending him to the center of the platform, destroying it. I must admit that I possess incredible power, but it is not surprising at all, because my power goes far beyond this. Just as you hide much more power, I do the same. Vegeta, a little annoyed, would expel much more of his power, being able to destroy everything in his path. This time, the battlefield looked like a desert. Kakarot had been surprised by all the power that Vegeta had been able to use. I am surprised, but you will not be able to defeat me, since I have been the Saiyan who was born with the power beyond the elite of warriors. Kakarot in the same way would expel all his power, which, surprisingly, reached
42,000 units of power, being well above Vegeta's power. Both began to exchange thousands of blows throughout the battlefield, but Vegeta would fall to the ground. Damn it! How is it possible that I, the Prince of the Saiyan, end up in these conditions? I did not think I would have to use the state of an Osaru on this planet. Vegeta, in one of his hands, would create a large sphere of energy, throwing it into the sky, with which, when mixed with the atmosphere, his body would change completely, transforming into an Osaru, just as his power would increase in a great way. However, to Vegeta's surprise, who had not seen Kakarot's tail, he was also beginning to transform into an Osaru. Vegeta would quickly try to stop him, but it was impossible. "Stop saying stupid things. He is a damn earthling compared to me." The battle of both Osarus would not doubt much, because this time, Kakarot's power was much greater than Vegeta's, so his battle would end in a great humiliation by Kakarot towards Vegeta. "It's time to end this battle, so you better leave, since you will be a worthy opponent in the future." Vegeta had lost his transformation when his tail was completely cut, while Kakarot, having total control of his energy, was able to return to his base state without the need to cut his tail, while he was beginning to approach Vegeta. "I want you to leave right now, but don't worry about Frieza, since I myself plan to end his life." Vegeta's ship had reached where it was, so at the moment Vegeta would leave planet Earth, Kakarot would observe all the other warriors. "What's going on? Don't you want to fight anymore? I must admit that your power does not exceed us hundreds of times, so please tell us, what do you want? No one on this planet will be able to face you." "I know that. So don't worry, I just wanted to become more powerful, but you really no longer serve me for my ideals." Kakarot would leave, being able to feel a very strange energy at the top of planet Earth. That's right, it was the temple of the god of the Earth. Kakarot, at the moment of arrival, was surprised to realize that it was a subject similar to Piccolo. "I don't know who the hell you are, but I can tell that you are not Piccolo, since your energy is not at all evil. And you must be the most powerful warrior on planet Earth, the so-called Kakarot. Tell me, what has brought you to my temple? I want to know if you know a training that is able to make me more powerful, since I am sure that very powerful subjects will come, and only I will be able to protect this planet. I do not agree with training you, but in something I agree is that you will be able to protect this planet. Even though you have an evil heart, you are a warrior who takes care of what he has conquered. In something you are right. I don't care who is eradicated, but I will not allow anyone to be able to deal with the planet which I have conquered. I prefer to have a ruler like you than someone who is able to end our lives. So, you can train in the room of that place which is able to make time pass in a very different way." "A very different way? What do you mean? Explain yourself." "In that room you will be able to train for a year in just one day, although your body will physically only feel one day, while the power you get in all that time you will continue to keep." "I think I understand something. What you mean is that while a common and ordinary day happens here, a year passes in that place, or am I wrong?" "You are right. For that reason, it is a great place for you to be able to obtain a new power in a short period of time. Wow, that has caught my attention, so I want to train in that place. Before I let you train in that place, I want you to promise something. If I give you access, you will be the protector of this planet. I don't like to be put rules, but I accept, since I will not let anyone govern my planet, and much less the planet on which I have been raised. Kakarot had just entered the Room of Time, in which Kakarot had just started his rigorous training, being able to even begin to destroy each of his bones because he still had several ashes to heal all his wounds. I have to be able to obtain a much greater power since Frieza's power must be incredible, and I am not allowed to lose. For his part, Vegeta had reached the planet of Frieza, in which he would be sent to a recovery capsule, being able to begin to recover each of his wounds. Returning to the Room of Time, Kakarot's body, being a high-class warrior, his power began to grow in an unreal way. The power I am getting is incredible, but it would be much better if I had a training partner. But none of the insects would be able to do anything, so I have to create a technique like that of that subject called Tien. Kakarot began to meditate to be able to create a technique similar to that of Tien, which was able to multiply his body into several objects. But the weak point of the technique was that, in the same way, his power was divided into 4, which made a useless technique. I have to be able to recreate a similar technique, but without that damned weakness. Kakarot would meditate for a few months, until one day he was able to open his eyes, being able to remove a new Kakarot from his body, which possessed the same power as the original Kakarot. This has been a success. The only thing I have to possess are large energy reserves, since if they are able to finish off my replica, I will not have any more energy. But my power is not divided. We both have the same power. Both Kakarots began their great battle, in which this time the power of both, instead of decreasing, began to increase in an incredible way. So after a few months of training, this time 2 years had passed in that place. So Kakarot would join his crow completely, feeling much lighter and with incredible power. At this moment, I have to use 100% of all my power. I want to see how much I have been able to exceed my limits. Kakarot would begin to expel all his power, with which he was able to make the whole Room of Time shudder. However, he felt an incredible power flowing through his whole body, making it impossible for him to access that power. What is all that power that I feel in my body, but I am not able to completely release it? Do I need a detonator or something else? Kakarot would remember how his parents sent him to planet Earth, knowing that the tyrant of Frieza wanted to destroy them, knowing how his parents sacrificed themselves for him. This great anger was able to make Kakarot release all the hidden power he had, since at the moment of an incredible scream, his hair would turn golden, while his power would increase in an extremely incredible way. Wow, what is all this power? It even exceeds the transformation of the Ozaru dozens of times. I have to master this power, since I feel how my energy decreases rapidly. Kakarot would begin to train his new state to be able to face Frieza without any difficulty, while for his part, Vegeta had been able to recover completely. However, the humiliation he had received was not able to overcome it, so regardless of anything, he would start the same way with a rigorous training. Vegeta's training was compared to hell itself, since every time he finished each of his trainings, he had to recover in his recovery machines, because the damage was so much that healing by itself would take weeks. Meanwhile, returning to the Room of Time, 7 terrestrial days had passed, to which the god of the earth had been surprised, thinking that Kakaret had died in that dimension. Apparently, he has moved too far from the entrance. Trying to find him has been impossible, although this will be the best for planet Earth. But inside the Room of Time, approximately 7 years had passed, in which Kakaret was able to master his Super Saiyan state, even being able to access Phase 2 Super Saiyan, with which his power was complete madness. With the power that I have been able to achieve, I am sure that I can defeat the insect of Frieza, but I want to master my transformations 100%. Kakaret would begin to meditate in his base state to fully understand the energy of his whole body, also being able to clarify his ideas. Kakaret had spent in a meditation pose for approximately 6 months, so at the moment he would stand up. At this moment, I have to access my maximum power, and I want to realize if there is any energy wear. Kakaret would cover himself with his fists, but at the moment he began to expel an extremely amazing power to which the whole room trembled around him, but Kakaret, without stopping, would continue to increase all his power. After a few moments, some rays spread throughout his body, so Kakaret had accessed the Super Saiyan 2 maximum power. Despite having achieved all this incredible power, I feel like my body is able to reach a new level. Kakaret would stay for another 2.5 years in the Room of Time, but in all this time he had remained in his Super Saiyan 2 state to check for any energy wear. But while he was training, he was able to realize how a much greater power grew inside him. Apparently, I really have a lot more hidden power, so I have to be able to become much more powerful. Kakaret, in the short period of time he had left, would try to access one more transformation, but it was still impossible. Although this time the power he was able to release in his Super Saiyan 2 transformation had left him satisfied. The power I have achieved is incredible. I am sure that with this power it will be more than enough to end Frieza's life, but in the same way, I am sure that I will be able to become much more powerful. I want to be the Emperor of the Universe. Kakaret had returned to his base state, while at the moment he would leave the Room of Time. However, despite the fact that he had decreased all his power the moment he left the room, an incredible power would be perceived by all the warriors of the planet Earth, while in the same way the whole Earth trembled at his gigantic power. Wow, who is this power? I doubt it is the power of that boy, since only 10 days have passed, but the power it releases is so much that it even makes the Earth tremble. Exactly, Master. We do not know who is responsible for all this, but I am sure that none of us would be able to face it. Meanwhile, in a place far from all civilization, was the son of the Emperor of the planet Earth. That's right, Piccolo, Kakaret's new rival, began to train to be able to seek revenge against his father's murderer. I am sure you were the warrior who ended my father's life, so you'd better get ready, because no matter what I do, I will end your life.
Kami-san was surprised by the incredible power that released Kakaret's body. So the moment he saw it, he was surprised. But how have you been able to leave after 10 years? No warrior had stayed in that place for so long. Don't compare me to beings from this pathetic planet, since their resistance is nothing compared to mine. I'm not talking about resistance, since enduring in that place for 10 years without having contact with any being is capable of driving any warrior crazy. Not any warrior, since if no one has been able to achieve it, I will be the first. But changing the subject, I want you to get me a spaceship. What? A spaceship? That's impossible for me, since all my life I have lived on this planet. You're right, but I just had a better idea. I know you have a strange sphere, which is capable of granting wishes, but those spheres, your evil part was capable of becoming eternal youth. You mean the dragon spheres? But I'm afraid to tell you that they can't be used right now, since they have only been used recently, and I have to wait a year. I am the God of the Earth. If you do not fulfill what I ask of you, I will end your life in this very place, and not satisfied with that, I will eliminate all humans. I am their protector, but they have to fulfill my wish. I understand, Kakarot-sama. I apologize. In that case, of course there is a way to fulfill your wish, but only on this occasion. Yes, do not worry, since I do not plan to return in a good time. Kami-sama would bring a statue of a dragon, starting to enter it a little of its energy, to which all the sky would darken, being able to leave again, Sharon. Tell me, what is your wish? I can only fulfill one wish. I wish you would help me with a spaceship, to be able to go to the planet of Frieza. That wish is very easy to fulfill. Sharon was able to grant him the ship that Kakarot had requested, to which Sharon would disappear again. I have been able to fulfill your wish. What else do you want me to do at this moment? For now, nothing. I really appreciate it. At this moment, I will leave to be able to avenge my entire race. Kakarot was able to get on the ship, so he would begin to go through the entire space. Meanwhile, on the planet of Frieza, Vegeta would continue with his great training, in which he had been able to achieve incredible results. Since Vegeta was considered of high class, but he was not able to compare himself with Kakarot's level. With the power that I had been able to get, it is still not enough to end Frieza's life. But I'm sure that with this power, you can be able to beat Kakarot. For his part, Kakarot's ship, being granted by a wish, its speed was much higher than that of common ships. Due to this, Kakarot had been able to reach the planet of Frieza in only 5 days of travel, to which the ship had been able to reach, but when opening the gate, several warriors had surrounded the ship as it did not belong to his army. It will be better for you to leave this planet if you do not want to die. But before being able to react, an energy laser was able to end the life of the warrior, making him fall to the ground lifeless, while an incredible aura would rise throughout the planet of Frieza, not allowing anyone to be able to move any of his bones. I'm not interested in killing any of you, but I want you to bring Frieza to me right now. I want to kill only that damn one. But the Emperor of Evil Frieza was not on the planet, because he had quickly left with his elite of warriors to the planet Namek, in which it was said that there were spheres that were capable of fulfilling wishes, and Frieza was looking for eternal life. Damn it, no matter how much power I have, if that bastard becomes immortal, I will not be able to do anything against him. I have to be able to stop him. Kakarot would quickly rise in the atmosphere of the planet of Frieza, with his ship opening its gate, beginning to charge a great attack in one of his hands. So this must have felt Frieza before destroying my planet. I plan to destroy everything he loves, and then end his pathetic existence. Kakarot would throw his incredible attack towards the planet of Frieza, and since there was no competent warrior, the planet of Frieza had exploded into 1,000 pieces, leaving nothing of what once was the planet of Frieza, while Kakarot at great speed began to approach the planet Namek. I'm sure these objects must be of the same race as Piccolo. Damn it, if this continues like this, that bastard will do with eternal life. After 8 hours, Kakarot was able to reach the planet Namek, in which at the moment of arrival he had been able to realize how hundreds of inhabitants had been eradicated by all the soldiers of Frieza. I don't care that I have finished with these bastards, but I just want them to fear me, not a good worm for nothing. For his part, the Emperor of Evil Frieza was holding a little boy from said planet, since having gathered all the weights was not able to fulfill his wish. Damn it, boy. It will be better if you help me to fulfill my wish, because if you do not, I will end you and all this planet. Kakarot would be able to feel the energy of Frieza, beginning to approach at great speed. But on his way, he would run into the Special Forces, which were the most powerful warriors of Frieza, but for Kakarot, it was nothing to end his life. So when he arrived, he was able to hold the little boy, throwing him hundreds of meters. I will not allow you to fulfill your wish, damned good worm for nothing.
Vegeta was surprised, as he was hiding, waiting for the right time to take away Frieza's wish, since he did not have the required power to face him. But if it is Kakarot, how was he able to reach the planet Namek? But is he stupid? How does he dare to face Frieza face to face? It will be better if you go to look for the boy, since otherwise you will suffer in the worst possible way. I don't care who you are. I want you to try, since I have come so far only to be able to end your pathetic existence. Frieza, irritated, swung against Kakarot, but to his surprise, Kakarot was able to stop his blow with only one of his fingers, which left Frieza surprised. But Kakarot would connect a great blow to his stomach, making him vomit large amounts of blood. Are you really considered the Emperor of Evil? I have trained all my life for nothing, since your power is pathetic. Damn it, that blow hurt me, but right now I will use all my power, since I have several transformations. Wow, if you have several transformations, it will be better that you access the most powerful, since in the next blow, if you do not transform, I will end you. Frieza would begin to access his last form, in which an incredible power was released, shaking the entire planet Namek. Vegeta would be surprised by all the power that Frieza released, but for Kakarot, it was nothing more than a simple breeze, because his power was much greater. After a great explosion, it was possible to observe Frieza in his last form. Now that I see you well, you are identical to the Saiyan who opposed the destruction of the old planet. Are you his son? Damn worm, you dare tell me? Of course he was my father, and I am your worst nightmare. I am the little Saiyan who was born with more than 10,000 units of power. Frieza's look would change a bit, but he would laugh again a bit. I don't care if your power exceeded 10,000 units of power, since in this way, my power even exceeds 10 millions, so a Saiyan will not be able to face me. I don't know how much power I currently have, but I want to face you in my base state. Frieza and Kakarot swung one against the other, beginning to exchange several blows. But in the first clash of their fists, Kakarot would notice how his power was far superior to Frieza's power, because in Frieza's face the effort was observed, while in Kakarot was completely relaxed. Kakarot with a slight blow was able to send him to the bottom of the sea, destroying everything in his path, since the power of his fist had been of another level. I can't believe that Kakarot is able to surpass Frieza. This is a nightmare. With this power, I have enough to finish you, but I want to show you your nightmare. Kakarot instantly squeezed his fists, being able to knock down everything around him.